So the topic of spirituality, religion, bringing those things explicitly into your business context can feel iffy and questionable. And it can feel like maybe you're walking a line between doing what you know to do, bringing the full power of what you have, and gross stuff like proselytizing and trying to get people to change their own spiritual path. And this is something I've had a lot of practice with, staying on the healthy, clean side of that line. And I want to talk about it a little bit. This is Mark Silver with Heart of Business. And I've been extremely explicit in how I've been operating as a Sufi healer and Sufi teacher, and bringing a very explicit Sufi teachings and spiritual teachings into the context of business. And I've been doing it, and at the same time creating an interfaith, multi-faith community around it, where people feel really welcome and feel, don't feel any pressure to become Sufi. And so there's a few things that I've done that I think make it cleaner both for me and more welcoming, more safe for them. And I'm going to just touch on a few. I'm sure there's more to it than this. But if this is a question you have about your own spiritual practices and your own business, then it might be helpful. The first and most important point is getting really, really clear in my own heart about, why am I bringing this in? If I'm doing a chant, why am I bringing the chant in? If I'm doing a bit of spiritual healing, if there's some spiritual teaching, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing it to perform? It's like you never want to be performing. This is not entertainment. I use those when I'm directed in my heart that this is the best way to get the help to the client. It's in many ways a tool in this context. I don't like to think of spiritual teachings as tools, so to speak, as if I'm manipulating the universe or forcing the divine to do something. But it's a tool or a leverage point in terms of how I access getting help for people. And when I am super clear in my own heart about that, people can feel that. Like there's a clarity that I'm doing this to access something to bring to them. So that's one point. Another point is that I have been very careful in my language that when I am presenting a teaching, I am always saying something like, according to Sufism, according to what my teachers told me, according to this particular viewpoint. And what that does is, by making where I'm standing and what I'm speaking from really explicit, is it makes room for other beliefs and other ways of understanding it. I don't ever, and when I trip up, I correct it. And I hope if I trip up, people will correct me if I miss it. I never want to present a teaching saying, this is how it is. Because what that does, if I say, this teaching, is how it is, and I don't say according to Sufism or according to my lineage or according to the teachers, what that does is it invalidates everybody else's understanding of that situation. It invalidates other people's interpretation. It does not leave room for other faiths, other spiritualities, other paths to walk. And it feels terrible. And so there's that. That's a second point. A third point has to do with an aspect of Islam that is very, very strongly taught in the religion, which is that it says very clearly in the Quran, there is no compulsion in religion. There's no compulsion in religion. And it says repeatedly through the Quran, try it and see for yourself. I have in my heart very strongly that I am not trying to create Sufis. It's up to the divine where people are placed, what paths they're placed on. People are called to different spiritualities, different paths, different ways of interacting with this creation, this beautiful expression of love that we're in different ways. And it's not up to me to try to organize that. And so I have it in my heart that I am never inviting people to that. Have people that have interacted with me gone on and been inspired enough to want to become Sufis? It's happened. It has happened. Sometimes my own lineage, sometimes they go into a different lineage. Sometimes they visit it for a while and then move on to something else. It doesn't happen very often because I'm not making that explicit invitation. It's not up to me. It's up to their own heart. In Sufism in particular, it's said that this is a path of attraction. If you are attracted to it, if you're pulled into it, then you'll know. And you don't need anyone to try to sell you on it. And I think that that's an essential part of finding our spirituality, is not being sold on what path to love we're following. Those 3 points, being super clear about why, being very careful to frame it, and knowing that I'm not inviting anyone in, like that's not an intention I hold in any way, is what makes it super clean for me and for the people from many, many, many different paths, and some people who don't have any path at all, to come close and to stay close and to feel safe, including many people who have been in, experienced spiritual abuse, experienced very high control religions. A lot of people have felt safe in our container. And these are 3 of the elements that I think help. And if you are able to embrace these 3 elements in your own practice of spirituality within your business, I think that you'll find you're standing on stronger ground, and your heart will feel better and others will feel safer. So I'm curious if folks have any questions or thoughts or pushback. I'm delighted to hear. Peace.